to infinity
and beyond!
Welcome to the channel, Space Rangers. It's the Jay Way. I got a big movie review for you today. It's for the new Disney Pixar's Lightyear. Pixar's always breaking new grounds with the technology and the animation, but also the storyboards. The ideas they come up with always have some kick to them, and there's always, you're going to get emotion. Pixar, I think, behind the MCU, or neck and neck with the MCU, they're the two most successful and the best quality studios out there. Lightyear's premise is very ambitious and different than what most people would expect. They should have explained it better in the trailer. So in 1995, Andy saw a movie called Lightyear, which is the one we are watching. So in his world, this is like his Star Wars. He saw the movie, finished it, went and bought a Buzz toy. And after this movie, I want to get a Buzz toy. I want to get a Socks toy. It worked on Andy and it worked on me. I was such a fan of this movie. I had high hopes for it. Out of all the Pixar movies, probably since Finding Dory, this is my most anticipated because yes, it is a famous IP. It's a famous character, and it's Sunday now, after seeing the box office results, it's kind of scary and sad how this movie's underperforming with such a recognizable name as Buzz Lightyear. It's one of those things where we're gonna have to wait and see, but I would have thought this movie would have crushed. And I get it, it's a very stacked year of film. We just had Jurassic World, and there's a lot of big properties out, but Lightyear is just something that everybody has in their heart. I mean, at least in the past 20 years, if you watch the Toy Story movies, you love Buzz. That being said, this is a different Buzz. This is a movie within a movie. It's a very trippy, cool concept, and I like the idea of it. I was on board from the trailers, and as the movie kept progressing, I kept finding myself shocked. I love the risks they took, and I love the art direction. I mean, this is hands down in the conversation for the best cinematography you've ever seen in an animated film. It was breathtaking. Every shot, every new location, every new piece of weather they interacted with, or even the devices, the doohickeys, the robots, the spaceships, everything was translated beautifully. I was in awe by the colors, and I was so happy to see this on the big screen. This is the first Pixar movie since 2020 to release in theaters since Onward, which I really like. I think that's an underrated film, but I think all the animators' work and all that needs to be seen on the big screen. Luca, Soul, some of the new ones that have come out, Turning Red, they deserve the wide appreciation and to be seen on the big screen. These animators put in so much time, and this movie was a feast for your eyes. I mean, you could tell they spent hours working on this, and most importantly, they knew what they were doing. They're fans of Buzz, they're fans of Toy Story, they're fans of old 90s sci-fi, which this movie has a lot of vibes of that, while still balancing the kid humor and all the stuff you would get in an animated film. It's directed by Angus Mclean, who was a co-director for Finding Dory, and once I figured that out, I was on board. Because Finding Dory is criminally underrated in my opinion. It took the torch of Finding Nemo and ran with it perfectly, and added new lovable characters, and that's because they are fans. They know what we want, they know what we want to see, and they bring it to life beautifully. This movie had moments that I'd always imagined as a kid, of Zurg and Buzz facing off. All of these beautiful visuals, but it was grounded in a really good story. I thought the first half of this movie really soars. I thought it was excellent. The entire thing feels big in scope and grand, but underneath it all, it is kind of stale and dry, mainly in the second half. Once Buzz runs into the Misfits, their characterizations are awful and they're very one note. They honestly bring Buzz down in a way. They make him less interesting and more robotic with his dialogue. I thought Chris Evans killed it as Buzz. Instantly into the movie, I was behind this man, I was following him, and it gave me a new characterization of a character that I thought I knew, while still feeling familiar to the spirit of Buzz we're all comfortable with knowing, but they expand on it a little bit. I feel like this movie starts sprinting and then it'll take a light jog. Many moments like that. It gets really, really good and high. It never gets slow. The pacing of this movie was great. There's constant surprises. It keeps you on your toes the whole time. It just gets really bogged down by the side characters almost any time they talk, and none of them really win you over by the end. Aside from Keke Palmer's character, who does win you over, and she wins Buzz over because you're feeling it with them. If you watch the first half, you'll instantly feel connected to her, just like Buzz does, and I thought she was handled pretty well, but the other two constantly bring her down in a way. They're just really bad characters. Taika Waititi in particular, I love that guy. I can't wait to see him as Korg in Thor 4. I'm excited for that in a few weeks. I love What We Do in the Shadows, but I hated him in Free Guy, and he really hurt this movie in my opinion. It's just, you know it's him. He's so recognizable with his voice and his humor. I don't know if it's him ad-libbing like he usually does, but his humor was just so annoying, and there's just this joke with a pen that would not stop. And I was like, can you guys use that pen and write more to this damn character? The old woman convict character didn't bother me that much because she's not forceful. Her character is designed to just kind of be there and she's funny when she does speak. But of all the side characters, you saw him in the trailer, the dumb robotic cat, Socks. When I saw him in the trailer, I was like, we're really getting this lazy now, just an expressionless, monotone robot cat. No creative factor to it. Boy, was I wrong, because the way he enters the story is super interesting in this futuristic feel, and he's instantly lovable, as you would imagine. But you are not prepared for how much of a lifesaver this guy is. He is being called the MVP for a reason. He's a badass. He has some pretty iconic lines, and I think he'll be the main thing people remember about this movie in the next couple of years, and that's not a negative. I'm already on the hunt for the Socks Happy Meal toy and the plushie. Sue me. But where this movie stood out for me, and the thing that I was most anticipating, was Zurg. The story of Zurg is way more complex than I imagined, and I'm hearing a lot of criticism because people want it to be something, and there is reveals. There's a lot of shocking moments with him. I haven't heard too many critics talking about Zurg. He's realized beautifully. Some of the shots of him and the motions and the sound effects with his suit. My God, it was fucking sick. I was blown away by the way he looked. Every time he was on screen, I was just waiting for him to come back. My inner 5-year-old self, who was very still present, was just blown away. I would wanted to see stuff like that my whole life. And like I said, I had imagined it. I visioned it in my head when I was a kid, when I was playing with these toys. And some of the battles, and every time him and Buzz interacted, it was epic, man. And that's the strong stuff with Lightyear. The best part of this movie is the action. It's filmed beautifully. There's a lot of continuous one-take shots going into explosions and space travel. Zero gravity. It gives you a little bit of everything. I can't wait to be able to rewatch some of these fight scenes on Disney Plus and be able to pause and bask in the glory of some of the dope moves they were doing to each other. Sadly, I think Disney Plus will be a downfall to this movie. Now that they have that 45-day window, people are learning that, and some of the movies that don't excite them as much, they're just gonna wait. But if you're watching this, I highly recommend to go check it out and see in the best screen you can, because it is a visual feast. I can't tell you enough. I will not forget some of these shots in this movie. It was breathtaking. It was thought-provoking. A lot of the ideas of the film, they have a lot of connections and themes to the Interstellar storyline with Matthew McConaughey. It's not an animated version of that, but it is very similar. They deal with the time dilation theories and concepts and really run it to the ground in a good way. I thought that storyline, that story beat was gonna get old because they use it for most of the movie, but it constantly gets more intriguing the way they talk about it, and it brings you to a lot of the tear-jerking moments. There's a moment early on in the movie that had my lip quivering hard. You know you're gonna get that with Pixar usually, and this was a very effective scene that just, it's hard not to get hit in the gut by it when it happens in front of you. I had high hopes for this movie and it exceeded them. Everything I wanted to see, it gave me that and then some. I can't say it was perfect, but it's definitely one of the best Pixar movies in the past 5 or 6 years. I wouldn't say it breaks the top 10, but that's such a high standard. Pixar has classics. I think they got really close with another classic with this one, and they hint to a sequel. There's 3 post-credit scenes. 2 of them are annoying gags that will piss you off and make you want to walk out. But if you stay till the end, there is a big one that doesn't really reveal too much, but it is kind of setting up for a sequel. So we'll see how the box office rolls out for this, if they can get enough money to greenlight a sequel. I mean, Disney could pay for a sequel right now if they wanted to, but they gotta see that people want the product. Sadly, this movie's being criticized before people even see it, which is something that's a trend nowadays, and there's so much controversy for the gay kiss scene. Good lord, dude. It's sad for common moviegoers who don't keep up with the movie news to literally just know this movie is the gay kiss scene movie. It's literally a blink and you'll miss it thing, and even if they zoomed in on the kiss, who fucking cares? In the context of the movie, it leads into like the best sequence, but a lot of people won't know that because they want to slam it for no reason because they feel offended by a fucking animated kids movie that a lot of people spent a lot of hours on to make, and it should be something progressive, but instead it has to have this spotlight on it, this microscope, when it should just be a normal scene in a movie. I'm sick of all the headlines of people slamming it, and I'm mad that I'm even wasting time shedding light on it. Nobody in my theater batted an eye, nobody said ew, nobody made it a thing. With all that being said, I will give Lightyear a 3.8 Goldblums out of a possible 5 Goldblums. That's it for this review. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. If you're a 90s kid, if you're watching this video, I want you to go support this movie. It's super badass. There's a whole lot to love in here, and it shouldn't go overlooked. This is the Jay Shrey Way. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your favorite Pixar movie is, your top ranking, whatever you want to do. Just come back for the next video. See you guys later.